Every fantasy book needs a world, and every world needs a map. Sometimes I think I spend more time reading the map than I do the first chapter, and it all starts with The Hobbit. In 1937, J.R.R. Tolkien drew the original maps himself. He famously once said, "I wisely started with a map." But what fascinates me is Middle-earth wasn't finished yet, so as the map evolved, the story did too. Sometimes he'd write a chapter, realize the geography didn't work, and go back and change the world. The maps informed the writing. They weren't just illustrating the story, they were helping to expand it. The Hobbit's map is actually extremely simple, which is fitting for the style of the book. This is the 1979 edition, but from the start, entire places like Rohan, Gondor, and Minas Tirith weren't there. They emerged as Tolkien expanded the world, and by Return of the King, it was just that, an entire world, viewable on a map across all his writings. That tradition carried into fantasy classics like Raymond E. Feist's Riftwar saga. The Magician's Map laid out the foundation for 30 more books. Even today, modern fantasy like John Gwynne or Ryan Cahill feels Tolkien-inspired. Mistborn made up its own style and almost looks like an engraved city survey. Interestingly, George R.R. Martin doesn't like maps. He does use them, but he doesn't like them. He says the distance and time can create a mathematical problem for the reader. And I get it. Sometimes I want a character to be somewhere that's 5 days away on foot in a map that I created, but I don't want to write 5 days of story filler. I created a map very early on for my book Steedkeeper. I did it in Canva. Now that the book is pretty much done, I'm recreating it using Incarnate, which is much more robust. A little bit of it has changed. It's kind of all scaled up to give it more breathing room, and of course I've had to add little landmarks in between. Not all these places will be visited yet, but having them there makes the whole story feel real. And that brings me to the joy of a map. And to be immersed in a world is pure joy, and that all starts with a map.